All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive safe, Dave here, manning the system a little bit. Not, I wouldn't say by myself. I actually have a couple of people behind the scenes. I've got, of course, Jack manning the boards, manning the screen, and always doing it correctly. The temporary producer. I like how you have that listed. And of course,
you do? You like that?
I wish you could always. We also have the wonderful Bryson here helping out and doing some of the fun stuff to get the show ready. Definitely enjoying today. It is Wednesday. There's a lot going on. We have a great interview for you today, and we're going to go to Liz about 7:08 to get a chance to tell exactly her very important story and her very important message to everybody out there on the road and everybody within the industry to know a little bit more about what's going on. But we'll talk to Liz about 7:08. I did want to talk to you a little bit about the Women in Trucking announced yesterday the 3 finalists for Woman of the Year in Trucking, and she will be announced at the Mid-America Truck Show. And we have 3 finalists that are going out there. Jack, you got theirs. You have Courtney. Courtney, it works for FedEx, hauling 28-foot triple trailers. She has logged more than 2 million drive-safe miles in her 28-year career and is a member of the Master President Safety Team. Congratulations to Courtney. We also have Frances Hernandez, is a professional driver at Waste Management, Inc., and has driven for 25 years without an accident. She is a mentor, a certified trainer, and a member of the Green Team, which helps cleaning up after disasters across the country. Congratulations to Frances. And we also have Peggy Arnold, has been a company driver at Yellow Corp for nearly 30 years and has driven almost 1.9 million miles accident-free and received Yellow's Million Mile Safe Driving Award. Arnold's is part of the Women's Inclusion Network, Employee Resource Group, the Safety Team, and the Leadership Team at Yellow. All outstanding examples of what it means to be a driver, what it means to be a mentor, and what it means to be a leader in the industry. And we are glad to know that these women are out there helping promote trucking the right way and what they got going. Congratulations to all 3 finalists. I hope you all win. I know that only one of you can win, but we are excited that you're out there doing the right job and doing it the right way. And you should be recognized for the great work that you've done over the years, man. I am proud to announce those to you. That's going to be done at the Mid-America Truck Show. We will announce the winner on the show. I think it's important, and we're going to try to get the winner on the show because we would like to hear her story and make sure that you know a little bit about what it means to be the Woman in Trucking of the Year here in the United States. So we're going to try to do that and get that done. So the 3 finalists are there, and congratulations to them. I will tell you, I ran across a really interesting story that Raven had found and brought it to our attention, and that is the history of heavy-duty trucking in the United States. Let me just tell you that in 1919, a transcontinental truck convoy that included Lieutenant Colonel Dwight D. Eisenhower drove more than 3,000 miles from D.C. all the way to Oakland, California, to test the mobility of the military in 1919. And I'm just going to tell you that Dwight D. Eisenhower, of course, later became the commanding general of all the Allied armies in World War II and was instrumental in the defeat of the Axis powers in Europe. And he has always been, and I will tell you that history will always say that Dwight D. Eisenhower's greatest gift and greatest ability was his expertise in logistics. He wasn't the best field commander like Patton or Omar Bradley or those guys or MacArthur, but I'm telling you, as far as a leadership in understanding the importance of getting man and machine to the necessary areas of combat was beyond measure. And that because of that, it is every one of us and almost every trucker knows that Dwight D. Eisenhower, when he became president, was instrumental in the creation and the development of the interstate system as we know it across this country. He understood that the interstate system was necessary and fundamentally important for the growth of this country, and that trucking itself and that logistics and that commerce was the only way in which this country was going to be propelled forward and become one of the most powerful nations in the world. And I truly believe that in of itself was one of the main reasons why we have not only the interstate system, but we have one of the strongest trucking industries in the world right here within the United States. So I think we owe a lot to Dwight D. Eisenhower, and it's funny that we look back and we're talking about 100 years ago, and it took Dwight D. Eisenhower 2 full months to drive that convoy from D.C. to Oakland. 2 full months over a state highway back road system across this country, moving trucks and equipment and men, and just imagine how long it took then, and now we can traverse that same coastal transfer across the United States, and we can do it in a very short period of time with a team on a truck because of the interstate system that he helped create. Pretty fascinating stuff, you know, and I think it's important that we look back, knowing that only trucking, heavy-duty trucking has only been around 100 years, and look where it is today. It is the most fundamental reason why every single person gets what they need. Every single thing that anybody has, I don't care if it's your house, I don't care if it's your car, I don't care if it's the food you eat or the clothes you wear, it came in on a truck. And even if it came in on a train, it got on a truck to get to you. So just so you know, it doesn't matter what it is or how it is, it was moved by a truck, and the men and women of America that move it by truck should be recognized when, where, and how, and however they can, because it is amazing how it has come together, and it is very interesting. I'm going to follow some of these history stories for everybody as we move forward. I think they're very interesting in how they are applied to us. I tell you what we will do. We will take a 60-second break, and when we come back, we will talk to Liz and let Liz tell a little bit about what she does and why. All right, everybody, and welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Drive Safe Dave here, bringing to you a very important guest today. It is Liz Williamson. Liz, how are you doing this morning? I know it's a little early where you are. Welcome to the show.
Having me, Dave.
Are you doing okay today? Did you get any coffee yet this morning before you came on?
You know, more important than me having coffee was I got my husband some.
Wow. I like that. I like the way that sounds. My wife did make me coffee as well this morning, so I want to applaud you for that and say thank you. Thank you for getting the coffee to the guy that probably wouldn't do it if you didn't do it. I'm just telling you.
You know, honestly, it just makes it better. If I have to be up early, so does he.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, so you roused him a little bit because of the show today. Is that what's going on?
I did. Hey, my husband fights human trafficking. It just might be, from home.
That's great. All right, Liz, I'm excited. So tell us who you are and what it is that you do, because we want to get your message out today. So tell everybody, introduce yourself a little bit. I'm excited.
Great. So my name is Liz Williamson. I work for a nonprofit called Truckers Against Trafficking. Truckers Against Trafficking is a nonprofit that's been around for about 11 years, and we focus on how do we train about human trafficking in the trucking, bus, and energy industries. How do we show people what to look for? But what I'm also really excited to tell you about is that I'm a survivor of human trafficking, and so they have me on staff to say, hey, not only is this important to know about, but I lived it and I survived it.
Is there any way you could tell us a little bit about your story, and how you got involved in this, so that we can kind of get the big picture?
You got it. So I was actually trafficked by my mom when I was 6 years old. And I don't like saying that because it makes all of us, our gut hurts and our heart falls to the floor. But no one knew what to look for and how to help me as a child. And so now, as an adult, I'm really happy to be the person that I had always wished had been around me as a child.
Right. Wow. That's amazing. All right. So tell us how you go about within your organization. How do you go about teaching about trafficking? Because first tell us really what it is, right? Because I think we talk about trafficking. I think it's important to understand exactly what it is.
You got it. So it's the exploitation of an individual through force, fraud, or coercion for the purposes of commercial sex. So you're thinking prostitution, stripping, pornography, or forced labor. You're thinking working in agricultural fields, nail salons, industries where you can work for little or no pay for long periods of time. And all of this happens because a third party is making a profit, and normally we call that third party a trafficker or a pimp.
Wow. We're basically slavery. That's to me.
It is modern day slavery. Yes,
wow.
It is.
Yeah, that's what you're talking, and that's horrible. All right, so tell us how do we as a group of people better understand trafficking and what to look for?
So there are common red flag warnings and signs that you could potentially look for. All of our materials are free on our website. So we have wallet cards that if someone wanted to have on their person to remind them, but we also have an app that you can have on your phone that has our documentary that you can watch. It's about 30 minutes. But you are looking for someone who has signs of abuse or neglect. Maybe they're not dressed appropriately for the weather outside. They could be dressed very scantily, and you're just thinking, man, that doesn't look comfortable for the weather we're having. You could see signs of bruises, scars. They could have tattoos that have someone's name or like a money sign. I know that there's been a lot of talk about barcode signs, but it's really that tattoo that they could have on their chest or their forearm area is a sign of ownership from their trafficker. You could have a young woman who's in a relationship with a much older man, but women also traffic too. So it's someone who's looking to exploit somebody else's vulnerabilities.
And how important it is that we pay attention and notice these things out there, because truckers are out all over the place, all over the country, and they have an opportunity to be in these, I call them, to me, a truck stop is a community center, because you're in there to get the things that you need, and they come together as a community in these truck stops. How important it is that these truck drivers pay attention to what's going on around them?
I think it's incredibly important because the trafficker is hoping that you're just going to look at the person being trafficked as just another prostitute, as if that person being trafficked is the problem, not the fact that they're being bought and sold. So first we have to check our own bias, and are we thinking that the person who is going door to door from truck to truck or soliciting on a street corner, are we saying that they are the problem? Or are we willing to say, why is someone willing to buy sex in the first place?
I like to think that way, because I think that really needs to be understood, is that we're really looking at the victim, right? It's generally not by choice that they're being trafficked, right? They're either there by force, by coercion, or what have you, or even by threat of violence. Not only of themselves, but even of their family, right? It can be any number of reasons. And how important is it that we do something? I mean, I'm not saying jump in the middle of it or what have you, but how important it is that we do something when we see something wrong?
To me, I think that my story could have stopped much sooner if someone had just made a phone call and said, hey, I see this, and I don't think it's right, and then you let the cops do their job.
Right. I mean, and let them get involved. And you know what? It's okay to be wrong, right?
Absolutely.
If you see something and you're worried about, well, I'm not sure I'm right or I'm not sure I'm wrong. The worst case scenario is that we've made a mistake, right? That no, there isn't an issue, right? That there isn't someone to be saved that's drowning, right? That we got in the water and got a little wet, but we didn't have to worry about it, right? I think I'm trying to get a good analogy here to understand that what we're talking about here is a person that's worth saving, right? I mean, we've got to understand they're absolutely worth saving. And if you have to wade off into the water just a little bit to find out if they need saving, then we need to do that, right? That's what we're talking about here.
It's absolutely what you're talking about. And you know what? Hey, Dave, I want to make sure when this call ends that you give me your address so I can send you a bumper sticker to put on one of your trucks.
Absolutely. I don't want you to just send me one. I would like you to send me several. I think the message is important, and I don't think we just need to tell it by one at a time. I think we can tell it by multiple at a time. If you had to say to a driver, what is some of the? I know you talked about scantily clad, but generally, are these people looking for help and they just don't know how to go about doing it? Are they looking at you? Can you kind of give me an idea of the
Sure.
victim, of the way the victim's thinking? Because we're talking about people, and we're talking about people helping people. And sometimes we think that if you don't ask, you don't need help, right?
Well, they could be told that you and I think that they are terrible human beings and that they are invisible. I know that when I was being trafficked, I really did believe the lie that no one cared about me and that I was invisible and that they just looked at me as like I was the problem. I wish somebody had just been kind to me and offered me, if you're walking into the convenience store, hey, do you need a water? Do you need to just be treated like a human being who's worth looking at and that they're not invisible? I think human kindness is something that we have sometimes gone far away from in our society. We may not be able to ask for help with our words, but once you engaged me in a conversation and you said, hey, do you really want to be out here? And you don't ask that from a place of judgment, just curiosity, chances are my answer is going to be no. But I don't know how to see anything else for my life.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Definitely trying to make sure that we understand that the victims, that they are victims, right? And that we have a responsibility to do something about it. How do you go about training drivers? How do you go about, you come on the show and you talk about, and you're with the organization. How do you go about training drivers across the country? What is it? I know you have a video, but what are some of the other things that you do?
So we do have that 30-minute video for different industries. We also have in-person trainings. When people invite us, our trainings are free and we'll come where we're asked. Another way that we train, we have podcasts that people can listen to that have, continued education opportunities, because maybe you've watched our video, you've learned about human trafficking, but you want to go deeper. We have that podcast available on the Apple and Android platforms, and you just type in Truckers Against Trafficking, and it's a great app.
And we can join that, right? We can join Truckers Against Trafficking, right? I could by tomorrow, I could be a TAT member, right? You're telling me
Yes,
I could be a TAT member by tomorrow, and I could proudly wear the shirt that says I'm going to make a difference, right? I can do that by tomorrow.
Yes, you can. You could do it by today.
I can do it by today. I like that. How accessible is the training? Just can you give us where to go and can you kind of line us up on where to go, how to get it, and all that stuff, the websites, everything? Can you kind of tell me where we need to go?
Sure thing. So you're going to go to truckersagainsttrafficking.org. Once you're there, you're able to click on I want to be trained. You have different options where, are you in trucking? Are you in energy? Are you in busing? You click on whatever opportunity that you think, but we're also on YouTube. We're on multiple platforms, so you can find us and learn more about us. The other opportunity that you have, if you want to be involved, is you can send us an email where if you think, okay, I would like to learn more and get more involved, send us an email. All of our things are free of charge. We can get materials out to you, whether that's posters, our wallet cards, DVDs, whatever you think you need to help people be educated about human trafficking, we're able to send it to you.
Hey, that's fantastic. I like this idea. You know, I think it's important that maybe this be a part of orientation when drivers come into companies and organizations that not only back what you do, but I think that maybe they should be educated within maybe the orientation process of an organization, right? That if we're going to do this and help change this industry, we've got to find ways to incorporate this in the driver training, right? Because I think this isn't just about knowing it after the fact. I think this needs to be something that we talk about going forward. And when you talk about victims, I think a lot of us misunderstand that it's just young ladies. There are all kinds of people that are trafficked, right? There's all kinds. Boys, men, women. It doesn't really matter. This kind of problem encompasses everyone, right?
It truly does. And that's part of why it's so important. If we're not aware of what trafficking can look like, we may miss that our neighbor is involved and looking for a way out.
Wow. And it is that close to home, isn't it? I mean, that's what we really have to understand. It truly is right here, right now, going on, and has been going on for years, right under our noses. And it's just, we just don't see it, right? I think that's part of the issue. We as a group just don't see it, right?
You know, but I think that starting this conversation is so vital.
Absolutely.
This is how we start to make the change.
Yeah, and I appreciate your story. Would you mind taking a call from a driver or just to ask maybe a question? I sure would appreciate it. Jack, you got a caller?
We do. Tommy Miles.
Hey, Tommy, what's going on, sir?
Give him a second. All right. Here he is.
There you are, Tommy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know I hit my mic, Dave.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, we got a couple more.
Okay, come on.
All right, give me a second. All right, John Moreno.
Hey, John. And go ahead and unmute another one while you got it. So.
Okay. All right. We'll allow David Mason as well.
David Mason. Did you unmute?
Hey, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Yes, I just wanted to ask. I'm from I live in Arkansas, and a few years ago, Arkansas made it where in order to renew your CDL, you had to be TAT certified. How many other states do you know are getting on board with that?
Give me a second, and I will pull up my latest number. I have it. I know it.
Oh, awesome.
I don't want to get it wrong, because they just sent me our newest graphic. Give me just a second.
You know, I did not know that you had to be TAT certified in Arkansas to get your license. I think that's fantastic. I think I'm going to get TAT certified immediately.
I want to say that we have 40 states that have adopted it in partial or total, but I might actually have to look that up, and then Dave, I can send that back to you so you can share more with your viewers.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think this is an ongoing information. And you know, Liz, as we do this, you're not a one-time guest. Okay.
I don't want to be.
Okay. You're not a one-time guest. I think there's a lot of information that you can share with us and how to do this, because I think this is something that we need to continue to talk about. And maybe we can go into specifics on some training and how we can get involved and how our drivers can get involved, because I would like to maybe share. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot to tell in this, and I think it's important that we hear the real stories, because I don't think
I would love it.
Yeah, I don't think if we personalize it, I don't think it becomes what. You got another person real quick, Jack?
Yeah, we have
Hey, I got those numbers for you.
Okay, go ahead.
34 states have adopted it, and let's see, they've adopted it in whole. 14 states have adopted this model in part, so they're either doing a little bit of what we're doing, but many states are starting to say, hey, for you to renew that CDL, you've got to take this training. Because we're realizing the value of the fact that truckers are on the road. People who have the CDL, they're out and about. They're going to see something.
They are, and you know what? They are, and they're and truly, believe it or not, I believe that in whole, or I'm going to tell you the majority of them always do the right thing when they have an opportunity to. I believe that. I know drivers. I know where they come from.
Convinced.
Do what?
Completely convinced.
Yeah, they are out there trying to make a difference, no matter what they do in some way or in part. Yeah, who do you got, Jack?
All right, we got actually several people here. Mike Campbell said, I just renewed my CDL in Kansas. You have to be certified there also.
Did you hear that? Kansas also says you have to be certified as well.
And then Freddie Martin. What do we got?
Hey, Freddie.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Hey, what's going on, Freddie?
Hey, I'm very interested in this program, and I'd like to become a member. So how can I get the information, shirts, bumper stickers, whatever? Are we going to be allowed to put this on our trucks as well?
I don't think that'll be an issue. I think it's truckersagainsttrafficking.org. I think that's what Liz said. You go to the truckersagainsttrafficking.org, not .com, but .org. You go on there and you get the information and you click on what you need to get involved in the program. Because I think we all need to get involved to make a difference in this deal, and I think this is going to be an ongoing thing. Liz, I appreciate very much for you coming on. You are going to be a guest again, correct? You will make it. You will have find a way to get up early, rouse the husband, and tell him to get ready.
Coffee.
Huh?
Yeah. I'll give him some coffee and tell him he's fighting human trafficking too.
That's right. You're a part of the solution, sir. Get up, wake up, and be a hero this morning. You know, by the way, thank you very much for what you do and how you do it. I know you are driven to make sure that this problem is solved and this problem goes away. And I don't think it's something that we're going to do overnight, but I truly believe it can be done, right? Don't you agree? This can be
It absolutely
fixed.
can be done. Absolutely. I mean, honestly, Dave, we've trained over 1 million drivers so far. I know that people want to make a difference.
Of course they want to make a difference. We want to do right by one another, and I appreciate you doing right, helping us do right by one another. And I think we need a little training, right? We need a little training. We need a little push in the right direction. We need a little bit of understanding on what to look for, because I think we do get involved in our lives, and I think we don't want to be intrusive, right? We don't want to, because if you understand what it is when you're out there, you don't want to ruffle the feathers, but I think it's time we ruffle a few feathers, right, Liz? I think it's time we get out there and we do the right thing for the right reasons.
Do the right thing for the right reasons, having that right intention to look at other people as human beings and not objects to be sold. It's a win.
It's a win. Thank you very much, Liz. I hope you have a great day. Thank you, and we look forward for you to be on the show soon again, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Truckers Against Trafficking, and we will have you lead the way here at BCB Live. Before you go, we always have our guests say who you are, what you do, and BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. Can you do that for me?
You got it. So my name is Liz Williamson. I am a trafficking survivor and a training specialist at Truckers Against Trafficking, and BCB Live is the safest station in the nation.
All right. Thanks a lot, Liz. Have a great day, and we appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, Dave. Have a great day.
Bye-bye. Wow. All right. So that is compelling. That is a great opportunity for each of us to do that and to get on truckersagainsttrafficking.org. Man, that is a part. You want to get on that website today and find a way in which you can get a sticker or a shirt or something, and to find a way in which you can make a difference out there today. What a great person, and what a great opportunity for each of us to be a part of the solution and not a part of the problem. And you know what? It takes some time. I will tell you that there's a great quote that evil overcomes when good men stand by and do nothing at all. And I think that's really what we're talking about here, is not just doing nothing, but doing something, and to change evil in the world and to stop it where it starts. All right, what we will do is we will do the phrase that pays here before we get out of here. We'll make sure it is a nice, lengthy phrase that pays, so write it down. This is your last opportunity before Friday. What's on your mind might be your heaviest load. Don't let it distract you while driving on the road. What's on your mind might be your heaviest load. Don't let it distract you while driving on the road. Make sure you write that down verbatim. put the comment in there. You're going to need it. And make sure that you have that ready for Friday. And we're going to have something a little bit better than the wheel. We're going to try something. We're going to try a randomizer.
Wait. What do you propose? Because getting rid of the wheel means I have to figure out another solution.
Yes,
here.
and I'm tasking you with that because the problem with the wheel is that too many people aren't on the show.
That's the point.
No.
They're supposed to watch the show.
So we could spin that thing 50 times and never hit a person on the show.
Well, we did, and then we had some technical difficulties, and there was a big hoopla.
So we're
going to
get
I got the bear. I got yelled at for that.
I'm going to help Jack today with the randomizer app, and you know what? I'm going to get one of the most talented people in the building to help Jack with that, and Bryce. And we're going to get Bryce to help us find a randomizer on the phone. So we're going to actually have someone help you today in the much needed area of your overwhelming you're overwhelmed, right, Jack? You're a little overwhelmed.
A little overwhelmed right now.
All right, I'll tell you what. We'll be back in just a second with a little safety and traffic and weather.
Hey, good morning and welcome to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation, the safety portion of the show. This morning you got Double Check Dale in front of the camera. We're going to talk about some traffic and some weather, then we're going to take a short break and come back with safety and some videos. Let's go to that traffic this morning. Traffic this morning, we're going to start in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and if we are in the Fort Worth side, it's going to be that usual spot 35W that is going to be causing us the problems. That's the north of the 820 loop. 820 loop and the 35 merge point. Looks like there's some pretty heavy traffic. Hey, if you're in the mid-cities, 183, 30, or 20, all of them have very heavy traffic this morning. So be aware that you're going to see some slowdowns in the mid-cities going east or westbound. Get over to the Dallas side. You know, Dallas side looks pretty good. You know, 635 loop, your trouble spots are going to be up in that Carrollton area between the Sam Rayburn and 75 is, you know, both directions. You got some pretty heavy traffic. And then over there in the Garland area on 635, very, very heavy traffic. Mesquite area where 80 and 635 merge point, and then the 20 and 635 merge point, also some very heavy traffic. And so, you know, Dallas, we got a pretty heavy commute going on this morning, so pack your patience, slow it down a little bit. 35 east, south of town, that DeSoto area, it looks like we're going to have some trouble northbound there. And then jumping all the way back over to Fort Worth, 35W Burleson, northbound heavy traffic. As we go to Houston, Houston doesn't look too bad this morning. 10 coming in from the west, very heavy traffic towards that downtown area. That outer loop looks really good this morning. 45, once you get inside the outer loop and right before you get to the merge point with that inner loop around Houston, you're going to see some very, very heavy traffic up on the north side. On the south side of town, 45 coming in, South Houston, all the way, you know, from the outer loop to the inner loop. Very, very heavy traffic, and traffic slows down even more at that 6:10:45 merge point. So, you know, be aware of those merge points. Slow down, yield the right of way, don't take it. Pack your patience and increase your following space. Hey, going to Kansas City. Kansas City looks like they've got a great commute going on this morning. Not too much going on in any place that I can see in Kansas City. So enjoy the ride there. Chicago, all roads coming in look pretty decent. But once you get inside that loop, that 295 loop, you're going to see a lot of heavy traffic as you're going into that downtown area. So if you can stay on that outer loop around Chicago, you're going to be in a lot better shape than trying to go inside of that through downtown Chicago, because it looks like very heavy traffic with a nightmare inside that loop. All the other routes there look really pretty good this morning. So Chicago, other than the downtown area, doesn't look too bad. So if we go to Atlanta, Atlanta looks pretty normal this morning. You're coming in from the west, 20 before you get to that 285 merge point. That is where you are going to see some very, very heavy traffic and some slowdowns. If you are trying to get around Atlanta today, you will have to use the southern loop. That looks a lot better than the northern loop of 285, because the northern loop on 285, just about from the 20 merge point on the west side of town all the way to the east side of town, you are seeing some very, very heavy traffic, major delays and slowdowns there. So the north loop in Atlanta just looks like a nightmare this morning. 80 coming into it at the merge point looks bad. And then the Stonecrest area of 20 coming into Atlanta, also very heavy traffic. So, it's pretty normal for Atlanta, but the south side of the loop looks much better than the north side. As we go to Nashville, 40 coming in from the west, very heavy traffic all the way from 1776 Estates all the way to the Briley Parkway. If you're coming in from the north, 2465 merge point is where you're going to start seeing the really heavy traffic all the way to the inner loop. But the inner loop in Nashville, East Nashville, actually looks pretty good this morning until you get to the south side of town. And that's where the 2440 split is. And there you see some very, very heavy traffic in those merge points. 40 on the east side of town, over there in Clover Hill, coming into that one merge point with 155 or the Briley Parkway. There's some slowdowns there. If you're on the south edge of town coming in from 24, expect some delays and some very, very heavy traffic there. Washington, D.C. Oh, man. There is a lot going on out there. The southern loop doesn't look too bad, but the northern loop up around that Silver Springs area is probably where you're really going to run into some delays. 66 where it comes in and merges with 495. Very, very heavy traffic. If you're the downtown area, just try staying away from that, because really heavy congestion in all of downtown DC today. 495, like I said, on the north side of town, heavy traffic. If you're going up towards Baltimore, the 295 and 95 have a lot of heavy traffic slowdowns and congestion. By the time you get to Baltimore, it looks a little bit better, but that 695 loop all the way from the 70 merge point in Woodland all the way around to Parkville, that 695 loop has heavy, heavy traffic this morning, both directions. And so expect some delays up in Baltimore if you're on that 695 loop. Go to Philadelphia, 76 is always where we start, and all the way from King of Prussia to downtown Philadelphia on 76, you will see some very heavy traffic with some delays going on there. There looks like there may be a couple accidents sprinkled in there with the heavy traffic. So pack your patience in Philadelphia. That 476, also very heavy traffic this morning. Jumping over to the Jersey side, Bellamar there on the 295, you're going to see some slowdowns. As you're heading north out of Philadelphia on the Jersey side, 295, Jersey Turnpike looks pretty decent this morning. And we're going to go to Indianapolis next. All roads coming into Indy look pretty decent. It is the south side of Indy on 74 loop, on that 74 465 loop, where you're going to see the heavy traffic. Where 65 and 74 merge, that's a real slowdown, real problem area this morning. But again, most of the traffic concerns in Indianapolis are on the south side on 74, 465. And with that, we will go to weather this morning. We are currently looking at the winds, and the winds don't look too bad. We probably have some up in the Wyoming area. That Elk Mountain area is probably where we're going to see the winds start to pick up a little bit today. But overall, I don't think we have too bad a day with the winds as we go into overnight into tomorrow morning. Seeing a little bit of wind starting to pick up there in Arizona and New Mexico. I think we'll see some heavier winds there tomorrow, so we need to keep an eye on that. Hey, let's take a look at precipitation and see what's going on there, because I know there is a lot happening with precipitation right now. Currently, if we look at that precipitation, and we can see it stretching, all of Wyoming. So right now, Wyoming, especially that I-80 corridor, is picking up a lot of precipitation in the form of snow right now. Some pretty heavy snow is going on, and that is stretching all the way across. By this afternoon, that snow stretches all the way across Wyoming into the Omaha, Nebraska area. So if you're on I-80 anytime today, expect some delays with that heavy snow going on there. And that, like I said, that snow goes on all day today. Let's run that ahead a little bit and see what happens as we get into later today or overnight. If we go into the overnight, that snow starts shifting southward into Kansas. And so tomorrow morning, not only will we see I-80 affected by the snow, but I-70 all the way across Kansas and hits into Kansas City by tomorrow morning with the snow. And so expect some delays there. That's really what's going on as far as the snow goes. Let's go a little further ahead and see as we go into Friday. Friday overnight, we're looking at about 2 a.m. Friday. Snow is stretching all the way from Arizona through New Mexico, southern Colorado, most of Kansas, southern Kansas, and that I-70 is still getting it Friday morning, overnight, in the overnight. And now that snow band is running up through Kansas City to just north of St. Louis, catching the southern part of Iowa. And so 70 on Friday. In the Kansas all the way across the Missouri, Kansas City to St. Louis could present some troubles. And then that snow goes all the way up into Chicago and Detroit on Friday morning. So, we've got a pretty active weather system going on right now as far as the snows go. And so we'll have to keep an eye on that and keep you informed if there's going to be any travel delays or if there's anything going on with that. Temperatures, they kind of follow where the snow and the snow bands are right now. Currently it doesn't look too bad. We're above freezing right now in Dallas. Oklahoma City's, just a little bit below freezing. As we get into the day, mid-afternoon, the warmest part of the day, the freezing temperatures recede all the way up into Nebraska, and southern Iowa will still be below freezing this evening or this afternoon. Tomorrow, what do temperatures look like tomorrow? Tomorrow morning, the freezing temperatures drop all the way to the southern Missouri. Texas Panhandle, Oklahoma Panhandle will also see some freezing temperatures. And we're going to see some snow out in the Panhandle later this week. So we'll just have to keep an eye on what's going on with that. And with that, we will take a short break.
All right, everybody, and welcome back to BCB Live, the safest station in the nation. It just seems that Dale and I are sitting here arguing Principia, the book written by Sir Isaac Newton. We're basically having a little bit of a physics discussion here. Hey, when was the last time you read Principia by Sir Isaac Newton?
Probably never.
We were sitting here talking a little bit about Sir Isaac Newton's first law of motion, and where objects at rest tend to stay at rest and objects in motion tend to stay in motion.
Yes. In this week's
unless acted upon by another force.
Another force, brakes. This week we're talking about speeding as our safety topic. And so, we talk about speeding. And as your speed increases, so does your stopping distance. And a lot of people fail to take that into account, especially on icy roads. You know, we go, well, I'm going, you know, the roads weren't bad. I could get up to speed pretty easily. That's the easy part. The stopping is the hard part. So, you know, the faster your vehicle is going, the longer it takes to stop. That you have to increase that speed or increase that space. As your speed increases, increase the space in front of you, because that stopping distance also increases. You know, it just takes longer to avoid other vehicles and hazards the faster you go. So just slow it down, slow that chaos down. And that's where that Newton's physics comes in, you know.
Yes, I truly get that. I'll tell you what, you know, we've been talking about speeding in different ways. And, you know, to me, speeding is the negative connotation of speed. I mean, I think speed is just a measure of an object moving from point A to point B and how long it takes to get there. The rate is what I would consider that in any formula. But to us in driving, speeding means going faster than either conditions allow or the law will allow. So yeah. You don't want to be speeding. You want to be moving, but you don't want to be speeding. And I think that's really important that we continue to talk about that, because speeding is the negative connotation of what we're talking about here. We want to make sure that we talk about the right way and what we are talking about. You are going to have to move the truck in order to make money, but we don't want you to move it too fast, right? This isn't NASCAR. This is trucking, and certain different rules apply, right?
Absolutely. You know, and so many times when we talk about speeding, we just think about, okay, what was the posted speed limit and how much am I going over? Am I speeding past it? But that's really not the whole story, because speeding also too fast for conditions, and that's where we just throw the posted speed limit out, because we have to take into account what are the conditions. We need to drive to them. We need to slow down for the conditions. And so a lot of times, like I said, there are a lot of tickets issued every year for driving too fast for conditions, even though they may only be going 45 miles an hour in a 70.
Absolutely. The speed limit is the maximum speed in optimal driving conditions. That's it. That's all it is. And underneath that is not only where you have to be, but as deteriorations or conditions deteriorate, that speed will move downward. All right, we've got that. Do we have any awesome videos up today, Jack, ready to go for the show? We are looking for them now.
All right, you know, we got some rain going on, and we got to make sure that we talk about, you know, going for the conditions, slowing down for the conditions, and we're going pretty quick here, and we're coming up to a merge point and everything. And we see this vehicle come on, and so we have to see that big picture, drive safe. And as we see a merge point, you know, slow down, allow that other vehicle come on. You may have the right of way, but we say a lot of times, yield the right of way instead of take the right of way. So just see that big picture and see what's going on with it, and then, you know, make adjustments for it.
Yeah, I watched this video, and I watched it a couple of times, and what we have here is we have somebody. And I do think the driver slowed down here. I think what we have is that the driver hesitated and got into that zone of, I don't know that I can get up to speed. I don't, Yeah, and I think that pause is what created this. I do believe the driver, as I watch it, I do believe the driver has slowed down somewhat to try to help that go about. But once that decision was made, I'm not coming on, the driver needs to move around and make sure he doesn't block the roadway. Yeah,
not necessarily anything wrong with it, just, you know, how we look at it and what we do different. So, you know, nice job reacting to lane change. This driver's owning the space ahead of him. We talk about, you know, that following distance, and the driver is definitely owning the space. The problem is that car comes over in front of him, he slows down and recreates the space. So just a great job in this video. Owning the space. You know, here we're just watching a couple other trucks tailgate, and no matter how close they get up behind them, you can't push them. You just got to back away, and what I like about this one, and the driver in this video is backing away from the chaos. We see a couple of trucks doing some tailgating.
We got a little Wild West action going on out here on the open road, trying to get some stuff happening. I can tell you that's probably that. Where was this at?
Gretna, Nebraska, I-80.
I-80. Got a little Wild West action going out there. Hey, you know what? Don't crowd, don't push, don't give the space you needed. I do like I do like the driver in the video here, maintaining his space in the right lane, doing what needs to be done, and then watching all the chaos go by to the left. Great job here.
As you watch that box truck, the Crete truck's creeping up behind him, forcing himself behind that box truck. And as that box truck changes lanes, we see a little bit of wobble there, like too quick a lane change because he's getting nervous. He's seeing that truck coming up behind him, and so many times, that tailgating, it makes other drivers nervous or makes other drivers aggressive.
Yeah, just a little too close. Yeah, I agree 100%. Way too close.
Now we're coming up to a yellow light. We're making a right turn on a light, and so the light is yellow, and yellow does not mean go. It means we should be stopping for that. We want to stop on those yellow lights. Stale green lights, be prepared to stop on it, even though that it is a right turn. Still have to stop before you make that right turn on red.
Yeah, so here, see the white line, you're going into the intersection on a red. That is you ran that light. You got to be more cautious. Be more prepared. That is not a yellow. You definitely ran the red light. You can see the line across that marks the intersection, and you can see that it was red before we crossed it. So you entered the intersection on a red. It is illegal. You must come to a complete stop before you make a turn on red.
There you go. Again, here's another one where a driver has great big picture awareness, situational awareness. He's owning the space in front of him, keeping the space. He sees we have lots of traffic going on, and he does a nice job, sees the brake lights ahead and starts slowing down early and keeping that space. Just love seeing videos like that.
Oh yeah, it was just Dallas downtown.
Again, it's just more tailgating. We see so much of it anymore, but it is just never a good idea because bad things happen in tailgating. You can't push that vehicle in front of you. So just slow down, back off a little bit, and get out of those tailgating situations. The driver in this video does a great job, again, of staying away from the potential chaos, potential bad things happening.
Yep.
And that wraps the videos this morning. So
all right,
some good videos.
Yeah, there were some good videos in there. Definitely want to stop at a red light though.
Yep.
And and almost the great part about almost every one of these videos that we saw out on the open road, the driver in the camera had great space.
Yeah.
I mean, every single one of them, whether it was in downtown traffic or whether it was even the guy that was merging on had great space and in a wet environment.
Yep.
There was nobody in front and was maintaining the lane. I liked the that safety area around the truck. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Out there in front, gave some great spacing between the driver and the next vehicle in front. Even those vehicles that were passing, they were passing too close. Our driver had the safe environment and had an out, and that out was the space directly in front of the truck.
Yep. Because he was owning that space in front of him, and that's just so great to see. Because like I said, a lot of times when we think of those outs, we think, well, it's to our left or to our right. But 90% of the time or better, our out is actually the space in front of us. And so when you own that space in front of you and have that the distance that you need, that's your out, and it's a great way of protecting it.
It is, without a question, it is your out. That area there in front of the truck, that is the area in which you need to stop. You you collide with something in front of the truck, it's because you didn't stop basically in time, and you want to make sure that you have that area space. We talk about that a lot when we do this and we mention safety. There is not enough times that we can mention how important it is that you maintain that area, and the practice and the exercise and the continuing to do it each and every day. That's how important it's going to be, and that's how important it has to be. You have to own that area up there, and we saw great examples of it, and you got to learn from those on the video. You got to take those to heart and understand those are important to do, right? That lesson that those guys are showing on the video is a very important lesson, because no matter what happens out there, you are protected 100%. You're doing everything you can to ensure your safety and the safety of those around you. If something bad happens, whether it be they come from a different lane or and those things happen, right? Those moments of emergency happen.
We've seen that.
In these videos, you're demonstrating safety. You're demonstrating what it takes to be safe, and your reaction to those is important. So I know it seems crazy, but imagine if something transpired right immediately, within 1 second when you're out there and you're running, you already demonstrated you're doing the right thing by being away from traffic. You're already demonstrating how important it is that you see that you control the environment in front of you. And we saw these traffic videos and we see these things. And let me tell you something, it's not uncommon for it to change and wreak havoc in a moment's notice, is it?
No, it is not. We see a lot of videos where that happens, where it wreaks havoc
in just a split second. And I'll tell you what's great to see is those moments before that chaos transpires. It's that brief moment in time in which the driver in the video is doing everything they can to maintain safe distance. Maintain safe distance in traffic. Even when the traffic is flowing around them, if they're doing everything they can, it speaks volumes to the innocent in the video, and it speaks volumes because these pictures mean a lot. And if you're continuing to demonstrate those kinds of behaviors on the road in the videos in which you have, you're telling everyone around you and also on camera that nobody's going to catch you by surprise.
You believe in safety. You're taking the steps. You believe in safety. You believe in keeping that space and doing all the right things. And that is just so wonderful. Just showing people it's leading by example.
Yeah, so what you don't want is you're up against somebody and you're tailgating and you're pushing and you're driving aggressively. Those videos can come back to haunt you. Those, and I don't mean just the videos, I mean the behaviors.
Yeah.
Right? It's not the videos that we're demonstrating here. It's not the videos is an opportunity to look at the behavior. And what we want to talk directly to and speak directly to is the behavior of behind the wheel. And to ensure that what we're doing is everything that we can to be safe. And the videos are just a training tool to demonstrate either what to do or what not to do, right? I mean, and I'm going to tell you, in most of the videos that we saw today, they are absolutely 100% what to do in those situations in maintaining that distance. That's such a big deal. That gap right there, that distance between you and the vehicle in front of you is the answer to almost all of your problems today. I'm just going to tell you that is the answer to almost all of your problems today, is that gap between you and the vehicle in front of you, 100%. And if you've been driving long enough, you'll agree that area right there in front of you is the answer to almost every problem you have, whether it's on rain, whether it's on sunshine or ice or snow. That area in front of you is your answer today. And you've got to believe that when you get out there on the road. And every driver, I truly believe, understands how important that space is. Because that right there will pretty much create 95% of your safe zone, 95% of all of your issues you're going to have today. I promise you. Whether it's merging, whether it's stopping, whether it's traffic, whether it's difficult weather conditions, it doesn't matter. That area right there is about 95% of your problems.
Agreed. And Craig couldn't say it better there.
All right, let me close with a quick prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, we gather before you today to ask for your grace in all things. Father, we come before you today with the opportunity to be better. Help us, give us strength and courage to be better for one another, by you and for you. Help us to do your will upon the world as you see it. Give us that ability today to make great decisions in your honor. And because of you and your love, help us share that with the world that we have. Father, help us to be the safe person today, the best person today for each other. Help us to be a blessing to another person wherever we can and however we can. Father, we ask that you protect our drivers out there on the road and keep them safe, keep them mindful, and keep them strong. We ask all these things in your name we pray. Amen. Okay, everybody, have a great day. We will see you this afternoon at 2:15.
There you go.
Later.